Hi, welcome to another lesson with Dr. Hill, and in this lesson we are going to be looking at a little kit I've put together for making electronic circuits. Now these are very simple circuits, they're not complicated. We're going to start right from scratch and we are going to draw a circuit diagram and then build a circuit, and we're going to have a look at how those circuits work. Now let's have a quick look at the board here and we'll see what we've got in the little kit. It's relatively straightforward. We have, I'll take you through each of these pieces of equipment at some point in the future, but there's one thing I want to show you today before we go any further. So I have here a breadboard. Now I'll take you through a breadboard in our next lesson and we'll see how that works. We have a few LEDs. These are going to provide light for us, give us some indication that our circuit is working. We have resistors, and it's important that we connect a resistor to an LED every time we use an LED in a circuit. That's not so important with batteries, because batteries themselves have quite a lot of internal resistance, but it is important when we begin to use a microbit, which will give us a direct current out of the pins and the microbit, but we'll worry about that later. So we've got a microbit, and we have the power supply for the microbit. And we have somewhere in here the USB cable for the microbit, which looks like that. That connects your microbit up to the computer. But we're not going to use this initially, we'll just use batteries. I've given you there's a separate battery here with and some insulating tape. It's a little bit difficult to connect these leads. These are jumper wires, leads, look at very thin pieces of metal. It's a little bit tricky to connect these leads to batteries, but I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So we'll leave any other batteries to one side. We'll use the battery case from a BBC microbit. If you have a battery case like this lying around and you want to join in with these lessons, then you can follow this method. Otherwise, you can just try and tape your terminals onto the ends of a battery. This is a lithium-ion battery. It's really important that you don't short out this battery. Don't connect the two ends together because it will overheat. It can deliver current quite quickly, so watch out for that. Obviously, these are all very small components. It's important to keep them away from small people in your household, so put them in a box and keep them on a high shelf. All right, let's have a quick look at the battery, because the first thing we need for any electrical circuit is some power. So I'm just going to take all of this stuff away and we're going to look at this battery pack that comes with the BBC microbit. So inside it we have a couple of AAA batteries. You may need to replace these as they run out of power. But you'll also notice that at this end of the battery we have a little socket that goes into the BBC microbit board. And the BBC microbit board has a couple of pins that slot into these two little holes. But the nice thing about that is these jumper cables also slot into those holes. So you can take a red or an orange jumper cable to represent your positive end of the battery and slot it into that hole just carefully, and it will, if you're really careful, it will slot all the way in. And you can take another of the a black cable, and so you've got your negative end of your battery coming out into your black cable, your positive end of your battery coming out into your red cable, and then we can connect that to give us power in our breadboard. But we'll come to the breadboard in our next lesson and we'll move on from this battery and we'll show how we can get some power into the breadboard using this, and then we'll move on with our circuit diagrams and learning about the way we're going to connect up the LEDs to show the circuits running. The BBC microbits we'll probably not use for a couple of weeks. Depends how long lockdown goes on, but they're there anyway, and they're a little bit tricky to connect up without crocodile clips, and I didn't have enough crocodile clips to hand out to all my students, so we're going to look at different ways to connect up the BBC microbit as well. But in the meantime, that's the little kit, and we're going to use those components to build our circuits in the very near future. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson. We're going to finish up there and we'll talk about breadboards in the next lesson. Thanks now. Bye.